Now, new, live, and local, and every weekday from 8 to 9 a.m. This is the show talking about what you want to know, what you need to know, and part of Wolf Boom Radio's mission to use our voice to build our community. The all-new Delaware County Today, presented by Muncie Community Schools. Now on WMUN, the Talk of Muncie. Here's your host, Director of News Operations and lead morning anchor, Steve Lindell.
From Studio B on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio, people are talking about snow now, but baseball Friday. What? Paul Poteet, weather in a minute. We have an astronomer booked at 8:15, and we're talking books and our book show at 8:45 this morning. It's a jam-packed Monday already. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Steve Lindell here, live on the radio and on the video feed. You can search for YouTube, Wolf Boom Studio B. Follow that page for updates. We are building more show content on it all the time. Let's dive right into the weather. And there are some school delays. Check our websites for that. WLBC.com is one of the first places to find them, with our friend Jared Boomer hosting the Wake Up Crew on that Wolf Boom station. Here, though, is that forecast, and it always comes from meteorologist Paul Poteet.
Good morning. There's a weather maker that's passing mainly south of east central Indiana, with a winter weather advisory until 9 a.m. for the areas generally along and south of I-70. For us, a little bit of morning snow early on gives way to a mostly to partly cloudy sky. The high today gets to 42. Rain chances begin late tonight with a low of 36. And it's on and off rain for the rest of the week. Maybe some thunder at times, too. 50 degrees for the high tomorrow, 59 on Wednesday, 65 Thursday, and 72 on Friday. And chances of rain will continue this weekend. Saturday, 69, and Sunday's high up to 67. It does appear the rain chances may be smaller by Sunday. Through this stretch, we could have up to 2 inches of rainfall. We're still in a pretty bad drought now, so welcome news for farmers. That's WMUN Muncie weather. And now back to Steve.
Seems strange to hear the word drought, doesn't it, with all that heavy snow we had at least once and maybe a couple of times this winter. Thank you, Paul Poteet. Hourly updates. The weather changes all the time, so we have him to tell you what's going on. Now let's get a snapshot of your day today.
It's March 2nd, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's World Teen Mental Wellness Day, meant to normalize and destigmatize issues surrounding teen mental health. According to the American Psychological Association, Gen Z has the worst mental health of any generation, but they're also determined to achieve a healthier lifestyle and overall happiness. Ultimately, this day is meant to spotlight the need for better self-care and mental awareness. Also on this date, in 1965, the film The Sound of Music, starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer, was released in theaters. And astronaut Scott Kelly returns to Earth in 2016 after 340 days in space, an International Space Station record. If it's your birthday today, you share it with the first president of the Republic of Texas, Sam Houston, born in 1793, and actor-entertainer Desi Arnaz, born in 1917. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
On WMUN 92.5 FM and all the rest. Coming up bottom of hour, we will have that hit time for our local news summary. Today, an extended version of it, because we got a lot of news to tell you about. That's bottom of hour, closer to 8:30. I'll check the listener list in just a moment. We'll got to get a different screen up on that. So many things, so many screens. I love it. All the technology and coolness. It's another Monday. How about another poll?
This is Poll Paris with Fox News Director of Polling, Dana Blanton.
Lots of people are asking how President Trump's ratings stack up against where former President Biden was 4 years ago. Let's take a look. Everyone knows Trump's numbers aren't great. Our Fox News survey shows his job approval stands at 44%. Here's the thing. It was about the same for Biden. He was at 47%, just 3 points higher, at this same point in early 2022. Back then, 27% of voters rated the economy positively. Today, it's 30%, so it's a bit better now. When it comes to handling the economy, the numbers are nearly identical. 40% approve of Trump's handling, 41% approved of Biden's. One more. When asked whether the president's economic policies have helped or hurt them personally, Trump is underwater by 23 points. That isn't great, but Biden was down by 30 points at the time. Check out our chart of Trump's job ratings at foxnews.com/poll. I'm Dana Blanton, and that's your Poll Puri.
From inside Studio B on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio, you're looking at where my guests will be about a half hour from now in the room. Cam and TC invited in to talk about a big get that they have for this coming weekend's show, 7 a.m. start time, part of our Saturday morning talk block on WMUN. If you're thinking this morning, whatever happened to Doge?
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, is pretty much all but a memory from the beginning of President Trump's term more than a year ago. Congress has passed just a single bill enacting $9 billion in DOGE cuts. That's a lot less than the $2 trillion in spending reductions promoted by Elon Musk. Top Republican congressional leaders say it will be tough to eliminate more spending this year. Budget Director Russ Vought signaled to Congress that it was doubtful the administration would try to trim additional DOGE funds. Instead, congressional Republicans signed off on a government funding package that included money the Trump administration had advocated eliminating. And the member who ran the DOGE subcommittee on Capitol Hill is former Republican Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She resigned in January. GOP Tennessee Representative Tim Burchett took over for Greene, but he's frustrated there isn't more of a commitment by his Republican colleagues to address additional cuts. Burchett says Democrats spend money on what he called, quote, woke garbage, and Republicans deliver the cash to a, quote, military that we don't need. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
WMUN, an affiliate of Fox News Radio, updates hourly as usual and always, and of course, tracking the developments in Iran as we continue to find out more pretty much on an hourly, if not more, basis. From the moment that began to right now, this moment in time and moving forward. Hold on. Coming up next, we'll go to the lighter side of the world because not only are we going to talk about an impending celestial happening tonight, first thing tomorrow morning, actually, we've got an expert to tell us all about it. Gary Boyle will join us in a moment in the Zoom room here on Delaware County Today on WMUN.
News. You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu, the daytime coughing, aching fever under your flu medicine.
You know that chair you sit in for the game and somehow wake up in hours later? That's the Z-Cliner by FlexSteel. This isn't just a recliner, it's a sleep chair built for real comfort. The Z-Cliner smoothly reclines into a zero-gravity position, giving you the support you need whether you're watching the late game, taking a quick nap, or sleeping through the night. FlexSteel combines the comfort of a premium recliner with ergonomic support designed for long periods of rest, not just sitting. From your head and shoulders to your legs and lower back, the Z-Cliner is built to help your body relax the right way. It's perfect for movie nights, overnight guests, or anyone who wants the flexibility of a chair that truly does more. And because it's FlexSteel, you get durable craftsmanship, smooth motion, and lasting quality you can count on. Watch in it, relax in it, sleep in it. The FlexSteel Z-Cliner. Your seat, your sleeper, your comfort zone. Find it at Flex Steel retailers nationwide at zkleiner.com/Dan Patrick.
Want consistent color for every job? Milo's Pro Rewards members get a 20% paint discount on future purchases after paint annual qualifying spend reaches $3,000. Plus, order eligible in-stock paint and paint supplies by 2 p.m. for free same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Improving is easy at Lowe's. Excludes spray paint and mist tints. More exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Subject to change. Details at Lowes.com/terms. Same-day delivery valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. Details at Lowes.com/same-day delivery.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community School.
In what we call Studio B for the Wolf Boom Radio Group, 6 formats, 1 mission. We use our voice to build and connect our community. Yes, we have news and weather and happenings locally and far, far away. We also like to take you to the heavens. And for that, today we have a very special guest. Gary Boyle is the backyard astronomer and joins me now. Gary, this is the first time I've had the good fortune of talking to you. I've been a fan of your emails over time. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks for having me, and thank you for those kind words.
Yeah, you are not nearby, though. You are far, far away as far as geography is concerned. Tell our listeners where you do your astronomy work.
Yeah, I live, retired now, with my wife in South Mountain, Ontario. That's eastern Ontario in the rural part where it's extremely cold. In fact, here this morning is now minus 26 Celsius. That's 15 below Fahrenheit.
Oh, Lord.
But it's a dry cold. It's dry cold.
The comic stylings of Gary Boyle.
Already.
Yeah. We are going to talk to him about a couple of celestial happenings. First and foremost, I asked you on because of what will happen in the skies on Tuesday morning as we're sitting here on March the 2nd. It's a tomorrow morning happening. Tell us all about this and share with us your passion for this, would you, Gary?
Thanks. Well, tomorrow morning, starting very early, we're going to see the total eclipse of the moon. And early meaning you'll probably be on air because it starts at 4:50 a.m. Mid-eclipse is around 6:33. And sunset for Muncie is at 7:09 a.m., but here where I live is 6:39. So you're going to see a little longer than I will. But a lunar eclipse is really the moon moving into the Earth's shadow. In fact, this month is the full wolf moon. Very safe to look at as compared to the sun. So if you're getting up for school or work, why not take a look?
Now, we had that total solar eclipse, the sun version of it, not that long ago. I remembered, and you might appreciate this, Gary, because you're a fan of stuff in the sky. I actually tried to do radio play-by-play of it. Can you imagine how that sounded?
Well, I mean, a solar eclipse that we had back in April 8th of 2024, I had about 3.5 minutes of totality in Quebec, where I traveled to get a good sight of that. Not too bad, but for the lunar eclipse, it's about 3.5 hours. You need a lot of commercial breaks for sure. So
commercial breaks.
Although when it does turn orange, that is, I guess, when you do want to get on and for the whole height, and that's when the moon will be very low in the west. So anyone that wants to view it, image it, travel west as much as possible. A clear horizon as much as you can because the moon will be setting as it's coming out of eclipse. So that'll be for some very spectacular images.
Okay, this is excellent. This is Gary Boyle, the backyard astronomer, who is talking to us here in Muncie, Indiana, USA. Those times that he gave you just a moment ago as far as when we'll see whatever, he calculated for Muncie time. We appreciate you for being that specific, Gary. I imagine there's a lot of specific in your line of work, retired or not. Tell us your background. How did you get into this? How long have you been doing this sort of thing?
Well, I started many, many moons ago, back in 1965.
Now, wait a second. I don't mean to interrupt, but you realize you just said many, many moons ago, right?
Yeah, correct. Yes, the old saying. Back in 1965, I was starting grade 2, and my friends and I met. What we did for the last 10 weeks in summer vacation. And then we all moved to the library where they had books where we had our entertainment. And all of a sudden I went down the side section and pulled out a book called Stars. Opening the book on page 16, back in 65, not a lot of good images of the sun, a lot of drawings. They showed a drawing of the sun and a very small, like a pimple on your face of the Earth. Went on to find out you can actually fit 109 Earths across the width of the sun. 346 would fit around like a belt, and over 1 million Earths would fit inside the sun. That was my wow factor. Been doing it for the last 60 years.
That's fantastic. Ball State University is our college in town here in Muncie. They have a planetarium here, which is very, very impressive. I know it's a bit of a commute from where you are to here, but if you ever find yourself in Muncie, Indiana, you would want to see that, and there's other places I'm sure that you'd be very interested in seeing. Gary Boyle is our guest on WMUN's Delaware County Today. I'm Steve Lindell. We're talking about the tomorrow morning event, weather permitting, skies permitting. The forecast, by the way, from the National Weather Service says mostly cloudy skies. That could mean there'd be a crack in the clouds that we'd be able to see something, but that will obviously matter as far as taking pictures, either with a camera or with your eyes. Something happened over the weekend, too. The planetary parade, or whatever they unofficially called that. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, it's a lineup of planets, but planets always line up to a certain extent. And don't fall down the rabbit hole of Facebook where it says, perfectly lined up all 6. You will not see that.
Okay.
Really, there are 3 planets which you'll see in the western sky now, and I believe I sent you a screenshot of an app that I have.
Yeah.
You actually see brilliant Venus, which is seen after sunset in the west. To the upper left is Saturn, and off to the right, and a little below is Mercury. Now they mentioned too Neptune. Forget it. You'll only need binoculars. And Uranus. Notice how I pronounced that, Uranus, not the other way.
I did. Thank you.
Are next to the Pleiades, and you will need binoculars too. But looking up overhead as soon as it gets dark, that is Jupiter. So you will see 4 main planets with your eye, which the 5 wandering planets, including Mars, which is in the morning sky, Sun and the Moon, give us our 7 days of the week.
So that happened on, I guess, Saturday night, but is there more viewing that's possible with that? How quickly does that lining up of those planets go a different direction?
It's good for Venus and Saturn, but Mercury is moving back on down. So tonight, tomorrow night, as soon as it's, and this is where you really want a good western horizon, like nothing west other than the Pacific Ocean west, clear. Because Mercury's getting really low. It's a little hard to see sometimes, so bring binoculars. But within a couple of days, it'll be too close in the solar glare and then move to the morning sky in about another week or so.
All right, Gary Boyle, the backyard astronomer, is our guest in the Zoom room for Studio B and today's WMUN Delaware County Today. I'm Steve Lindell. I'd like you, before we wrap up here, first and foremost, remind us of the timing for Tuesday morning.
Yeah, so everything begins at 4:50 a.m., and that's when the moon moves into the shadow. You see the curvature of the Earth. Yes, the Earth is round. It's not flat or it look like a Frisbee.
Thank you for clarifying.
No problem at all. And slowly by 6:33, and this is for across the country too, just separate your time zone. 6:33 is mid-eclipse. The end of the eclipse is just before 7 o'clock, and that's now it's going to come out of the shadow, and the moon set for Muncie is at 7:09 a.m.
All right, last item for you. I'd like you to give yourself a plug for your Facebook and your interwebs. I got the good chance to click around and look for some things about you, but please tell people how they can find out more about your work.
Yes, thank you. My website is www.wondersofastronomy.com, and I'd like to answer any and all questions people might have. I don't do astrology. That's the other guy. But if you have any questions on what's happening, telescopes, buyer beware. Stay away from those big box stores. Won't name them. Don't want to get sued. But these are reputable telescope dealers in the U.S. and Canada, and I can always steer you in the right direction.
You have absolutely no Canadian accent whatsoever. Where do you hail from originally, sir?
Really, I was born and bred in Montreal, Quebec. So I do speak French, but I don't have the outrageous French accent. From Montreal, moved to Ottawa in 1993, and in the country here in 2013, and beautiful country skies. And anyone that really can get out to the country, get away from light pollution, really do so, especially on a little warmer nights than what we're having. And really look at the night sky. You're going to see part of our 400 billion stars in the Milky Way.
Fantastic. Great to talk to you finally. I read your stuff all the time. Keep it coming, and I hope that we can do this again, Gary Boyle. I appreciate you very much.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Yeah, keep my number in your Rolodex, so we'll come back to this.
Excellent. Gary Boyle, great interview to start our guest fest for this week on a busy one for WMUN's Delaware County Today. Steve Lindell in Studio B here on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio, so named by our staff in honor of Mr. Burton, Don Burton, the original owner of this place. And now we are owned by Mr. C. J. Chapman, who is very supportive of all the efforts we've been doing and that we intend to do as we build this up and build it out. Hold on a second. Before I go much further, let me look at the big screen. I do see Mama in Minnesota listening. Roger's probably there too. Oh, we have the Canadian listener. That was probably Gary or perhaps his wife clicking on to hear that. I see Sister Sherry on the left coast. That is Portland, Oregon. Chicagoland always listens. Plain City, Ohio. And zooming in, I do see Fishers and Speedway. I see Yorktown and more and more and more. Far more than that listening on the terrestrial radio, the 92.5 FM frequency, the one that is most listened to in our neck of the woods here in Muncie, Delaware County, East Central Indiana. More coming in a moment. This is Delaware County Today on WMUN.
Here in Muncie, we know what it means to show up for one another. We celebrate our wins, big and small. And when times get tough, we lean in, not away. At WMUN, we're more than just a voice on the radio. We are your neighbor, your friend, your connection to what matters most. Every morning, we wake up with you, sharing the stories of our city, highlighting the heroes you don't always hear about, and cheering on the teams that carry our hopes on their shoulders. This isn't just news and sports. This is home. From the streets of downtown to the heart of Delaware County, we're here because you're here. Thanks for letting WMUN be part of your day. We're proud to be your hometown station.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-2013 or biglou.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
And the Muncie Community Schools, our sponsor, not having a delay this morning, but some did. We got some wacky snowfall again just this morning, as was predicted by WMUN meteorologist Paul Poteet. It shouldn't amount to much of anything, thankfully. Farther south of I-70, it is kind of slushy and really icky in those vicinities. They have some school delays and even some more, not affecting or impacting us. Here at Studio B, we bring you now our local news summary. These stories and more are airing on all of our stations in East Central Indiana, and an extended version of those news stories now for you on WMUN. Here's your local news now with your Monday stories. I'm Steve Lindell. Friday night, State Senator Scott Alexander, Republican of Muncie, made the following statement, quoting, "The General Assembly officially concluded the legislative session, and I'm happy to see the Senate Republicans pass our priorities." The Indiana Democrat Party was not so pleased in the following statement from Chair Karen Tallien, quoting, "This legislative session would be laughable if it were not so disappointing in its repetition," unquote. See both full statements on our website, wolfboomnews.com, this morning. On Friday, prosecutors announced a plea agreement filed for a man who caused a crash last year.
In March of 2025, Mason Alexander, a high school football star, died in the crash in Fishers. The driver, Trey Williams, was arrested and waived to adult court a couple months later. He was charged with reckless homicide, among other things, in June. Hamilton County Prosecutor Josh Coker explains Williams' punishments.
It's a total sentence of 6 years, which is the maximum. Executed is a cap of 4 years with a subcap of 3 years on any time in the Department of Corrections, and then 2 years suspended to probation.
On top of that, Williams won't be allowed to drive for 5 years. He's also due back in court on March 11th. Jake McDaniel, Network Indiana.
Business is moving at the speed of light these days, with new tech and strategies changing the game on a nearly hourly basis.
And what we want to do is we want to stay with the times. We always say we move at the speed of business because you have to. It's either move on or get eaten up somehow.
Right.
And so it is really hard to be a business owner, and we just want to come alongside and help.
That's Muncie Innovation Connector CEO Ted Baker talking on WMUN's Delaware County Today. They say they are there to help. Meteorologists now have confirmed 3 tornadoes touched down across Indiana on February 19th, the latest confirmation coming from Decatur County west of Greensburg. A 36-point win Saturday on WMUN Radio for Ball State men's basketball. Mick Tidrow told us last week that winning out and getting some help is the way to make the MAC tourney. Their next chance to win is tomorrow at Western Michigan. The women won by 1 point on Senior Day. Just one more road game for them Saturday before heading to the conference tourney. Hoosier lawmakers are reacting to the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran.
The message from Indiana Republican Senator Jim Banks was simple. A Trump red line isn't a warning, it's a promise. This after the president announced early Saturday morning that the U.S. and Israel had launched an attack targeting Iran's military infrastructure and nuclear facilities. Democratic Congressman Andre Carson is against the operation, calling this another reckless and illegal war started by the president. He believes President Trump is putting our troops and civilians in danger. Jarrett Lewis, Network Indiana.
Over the weekend, a planetary parade happened as Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn were all visible to the naked eye under clear skies. 2 more planets needed binoculars or a telescope. If you got some pictures, share them. WMUN at wolfboom.com. Tomorrow morning, just after 6 a.m., the blood moon will be visible, clear skies permitting. Reining in medical costs is a primary issue for 5th District Congresswoman Victoria Spartz.
Honestly, I want us to actually get to do a little bit more work because the country's really in trouble. And I think a lot of good things, I would like to see them in the law. Hard to do in the election year, but I think price transparency, I think that's something we can get done.
Last week on WMUN's Delaware County Today, she said she was happy President Trump mentioned health care reform in his State of the Union address. NBA legend Larry Bird's hometown has been turned into a local tour.
Basketball greatness didn't just start in a stadium. It began on a cracked driveway where young Larry Bird first launched jump shots. Fans can follow his journey from that driveway to Springs Valley High School gym where he starred, then to Larry Bird's museum filled with jerseys, trophies, and photos, and finally to a local sports bar showcasing memorabilia donated by Bird himself. It's a chance to walk through the town that shaped one of basketball's greatest legends and see how a small town kid became Larry Legend. Legend. Renuka Bachpai Network, Indiana.
The Indiana Election Commission denied a challenge to remove Democrat Kim Townsend from the primary ballot, running for state rep seat District 34, held currently by Republican Kyle Pierce. Second Harvest Food Bank has their first tailgates of March. Some of the events, one tomorrow in Elwood, one Saturday at the Warehouse location, Old State Road 3 in Muncie. All the events start 10 a.m., the full list on our web. The U.S. and Israel joining forces and launching airstrikes across Iran Saturday. Jarrett Lewis has some of the responses from Indiana political leaders about the attack.
For Representative Andre Carson, the attack by Israel and the U.S. on Iran is an illegal, reckless, and open-ended war started by President Trump that puts our troops and civilians in danger. Congressman Rudy Yoakum, though, sees Operation Epic Fury as a bold and decisive step by the president to create real peace in the region. Fellow Republican Congressman Jim Baird said the U.S. has sought diplomatic solutions with Iran for years, but they refused to listen, and now they're facing the consequences. Jarrett Lewis, Network Indiana.
Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour provided a comment to us early Friday morning, quoting, "Struggling malls are Hull Properties business. Let's see how this plays out," unquote. The Muncie Redevelopment Commission on Thursday committed another $2.8 million to a new plan, the Muncie Mall to be totally demolished. John Mullerin from Hull Property Group told the MRC that demolishing the empty anchor stores can take place beginning next month. What was not clarified was related to a complication that came up after the sale. We were told the main water and gas lines to the property are part of those anchor store structures, so it's not known how anyone could remain a tenant for a process that could take between 6 months and 2 years. More missing children may soon qualify for the Indiana Silver Alert status.
Indiana lawmakers say they have approved legislation to make that happen and sent it to Governor Mike Braun. Democrat Representative Victoria Garcia Wilburn tells Wish TV this needs to be done to honor the life of Fisher's teenager Haley Busby, who died after she went missing.
I think it's a step towards healing. I hope that it's a step towards healing for the family.
And she says the goal of this bill is to add cases like Busby's to the alert system without overwhelming it. John Herrick, Network Indiana.
Former IU quarterback Fernando Mendoza spoke at the NFL Combine on Friday in Indy.
The majority of mock drafts have Mendoza as the number 1 overall pick to the Las Vegas Raiders, but he says he's not letting that affect his mindset.
I'm just trying to be the best me possible, and whatever team drafts me, I'm grateful, whether it's the number 1 pick or whether it's, the 199th pick.
Mendoza says he's had a formal interview with the Raiders where they went over some of his previous plays and had him draw some other plays on a board in front of him. He led the Hoosiers to their first ever football championship in January. John Herrick, Network Indiana.
We have more local every day on our free wolfboomnews.com. And our local news summary, part of our everyday routine here on Delaware County Today. We talk about what people are talking about in Muncie, Delaware County, and beyond. Still to come in a couple of minutes, right here in Studio B, we will have the very good fortune of having Cam and TC right over here on our microphone dais to talk about a big get they got for the upcoming program on Saturday. That is the Page Turners, the Broadcast Book Club program. Starts at 7 a.m. every Saturday, the part of our Saturday morning talk block here on WMUN. All right, next item is the headline here, Get Educated or Die.
This is House Call for Health. A new study shows more people with a high school diploma or less education are dying from medically preventable causes compared to those with at least a college degree. Researchers say those who were less educated see doctors less often, even if they have chronic illnesses that put them at a greater risk of death. The study analyzing more than 476,000 Americans from 1996 to 2022, finding that those without a college degree had a 144% greater rate of medically preventable death. That's up from a 71% gap in preventable deaths in 2001. Cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and to the Affordable Care Act could make those numbers grow. A lead researcher says it's always been a belief that inequalities in housing, nutrition, and exposure to hazards underlie the high death rates of less privileged Americans. The study was reported in the American Journal of Public Health. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
On WMUN Thursday this week, a special presentation from the Horizon Convention Center. In fact, we'll be there twice in one day, same venue, but that morning here on Delaware County Today, we will again broadcast the State of the Community, formerly known as the State of Muncie. It'll be Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour and Delaware County Commissioner Stephen Brand, perhaps some others too, making the presentation about the state of our community. That is the Thursday morning edition of Delaware County Today. We'll be live on location at the Horizon Convention Center, downtown Muncie. That is a ticketed event, but we understand Shireen Wagley told us 500 plus have already registered for that. I'm not certain if you can still get a ticket or not. Shireen is probably the one to talk to about trying to sneak in, but they may have had to close the registration because they got to know how many chairs to set up and how much food to make available as well. All right, in just a moment after the break, we'll bring in our next guests, as we've been talking about this morning, from one of our programs that airs on Saturday mornings, Page Turner's The Broadcast Book Club. Cam and TC coming into Studio B. Look at me, I'm a poet, didn't even know it. Coming up next on WMUN.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Gary Dick. It is a $6 billion industry expected to triple in the next 10 years, and Indiana's position as a leader in radiopharmaceuticals continues to grow. Indianapolis-based Spectron RX has installed its 12th cyclotron near Grissom Air Reserve Base in Bunker Hill to meet skyrocketing demand for its cancer-fighting products. Spectron CEO John Zahner.
We can either use it locally here in Indiana, even in our Bunker Hill facility, or we ship it around the world. So we ship to Australia, China, this material all the time. This is something that truly could change the world, and I think is definitely changing people's lives and their families' lives on a daily basis.
In Muncie, the Ball State University Board of Trustees has approved plans and budgeting for Village Green, the latest component of the university's multi-million-dollar village revitalization plan. That $5.4 million plan includes a signature gateway featuring public art. You're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress, from the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, invest in connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures. Visit elevateventures.com.
Serving Indiana means being ready for growing energy demands. At Duke Energy, we're adding more power to the grid and working on hundreds of local projects to make your energy more reliable. We've strengthened nearly 20,000 poles, updated more than 270 substations, and prevented hundreds of thousands of outage hours with self-healing grid technology, so your power can come back on faster than ever. That's the smarter energy future Indiana deserves. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community School.
Thank you, Tom Campbell from Studio B on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio. You are looking at the dais. Is it a dais or is it a microphone parade? I don't know what it is. It's just a whole bunch of guests in the studio. As we've been telling you this morning, we have Cam and TC from Page Turner's, the Broadcast Book Club. It's great to have you in here. Thomas, let's start with you. He's the TC, for heaven's sakes. Tell us about your upcoming guest this coming Saturday morning. This was a big get.
Yeah, absolutely. So his name is Daniel Roebuck. You may know him from the new Netflix The Munsters. He plays Grandpa Munster. And as we were talking before the show, Cam said he was in a lot of our childhood Disney Channel shows.
He was the TV dad in all the 90s and early 2000s content. So if you've ever seen Agent Cody Banks, he is Mr. Banks.
Fantastic. Now I got to know, how did you get him? Was it a Cam or a TC get, or was it a code get?
It was a TC get. So roughly 3 years ago, I met Daniel Roebuck at a movie convention. And he was promoting his current movie, The Hail Mary, which is a comedy. And fast forward 3 years, it's just now getting released.
Okay.
So he posted on Facebook, this big weekend, my movie's going to be in theaters nationwide. So I commented, you would be the perfect guest on Page Turners. And his agent reached out, Mr. Roebuck would love to be on your show. So here we are. He's on the show.
Thomas Peak is the Cam and TC, the portion of the duo that are on Saturday morning, 7 a.m., part of our talk block on Saturdays on WMUN. Cam, I know you as Camille, so I have trouble doing the Cam and TC thing. You know how that works. Tell me, if you could, when this show was just an idea in both of your heads, what was the birth of it, and what were you thinking it could maybe be?
So I make a joke all the time on the show. I'm a book dragon, so I hoard books like it's nobody's business. Okay. But more importantly, I really think it's important for people in our community to be excited about reading, excited about literature, and that starts from comic books all the way up into movies, and nothing in between is off limits. So when Thomas and I were talking about it, I said, what if we did something where we talk about content in a very positive light, because it's always something that we need to be inspired by. And what's really nice is every time we ask a question like, hey, do you want to be on the show? 9 times out of 10, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or just an email, the guest is so excited. It doesn't matter how famous they are, how well known they are. They're so excited because our mission is always getting people excited about writing and reading.
My mama in Minnesota is listening right now. She listens every day on her Alexa device. And she is a reader. She always has been. She doesn't like the Kindle sort of a thing. She doesn't like the digital. She likes to feel and hold the book. I imagine, Thomas, you're like that too.
Absolutely. There's just something about holding the book, feeling the book, and turning the physical pages.
It's the smell. It's the smell. It's the smell. It's the pages. As you flip it, as you're reading, it's the smell of books that gets it.
It's the smell. Save that one for a drop, Aiden Foster back in the Axia Command Center. I love it. Again, the program is on Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. This guest is just the latest in how many now? I forget how many. Not episodes.
Chapters.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe Daniel Roebuck will be chapter 140.
Yeah, wow. We're almost at 150.
It's fantastic. If anybody ever had ideas or maybe suggestions, do you take those as far
all
as
the
books
time.
and authors?
All the time.
How
we
to
have
reach out?
people who will send us messages on Facebook. So Page Turner's Broadcasting Book Club is a Facebook page. We also will take suggestions from Listen Up at woofboom.com. We've had people who stop us in bookstores and say, hey, you do the thing, right? Here, you need to get this person, or family and friends.
That's great. Thomas, any last words to you before we wrap the segment?
Last words would be happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. It's a goal to get older, so at least I've accomplished that so far yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Cam and TC. Appreciate both of you for the great work you're doing. It's a great program every Saturday morning, 7 to 8 a.m. here on WMUN.
Yep.
Well done indeed.
Thank you.
All right, as we continue with our last couple of moments here on WMUN, this is from Studio B on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio. They're taking selfies. There's paparazzi in here. And we have just a few more minutes to bring to you what we have for today. We'll do the weather again here. It didn't start out very nice this morning. Paul Poteet said we were going to get some snow. He was right again, and he says that later on the sun breaks out at least a little bit, and we'll get 44 degrees. So this is all going to go away very quickly, and I'm a fan of that, no doubt about it. And listen to this. Listen to this trend, okay, for temperatures. That's a 44-degree day today. Then on Tuesday, it'll be 53 degrees. That's better already. On Wednesday, 65. On Thursday, 65. And on Friday, which is the home opener for Ball State baseball at Shebeck Stadium on the campus of Ball State University, and our broadcast team will be there for the first of the most aggressive schedule of Ball State baseball we have ever done at WMUN and Wolf Boom Radio. That day, folks, let me see if I got it right. Yep, 72 degrees. There are mentions on Friday, 50-50 chance of rain or thunderstorms, but you know how that goes. That doesn't always happen the way that it's supposed to play out. So just wait a minute if you don't like the weather in Indiana. You know the drill. We're in Studio B for WMUN's Delaware County today. We look forward to hearing from you a whole lot of different ways. You can reach out with an email, WMUN@wolfboom.com, WMUN@wolfboom.com, or you can grab that phone and give us a ring. 765 is the prefix, and then there's 289 News if you want to look for the tiny little numbers that are on that phone pad right in front of you. WMUN looks forward to hearing from you, and hopefully you have some nice things to say. Kind words and compliments are always very, very much appreciated. I have a note here from my sister Sherry, who is perking up right now in the left coast of the great country we live in. Thank you very much. She reminds me that this month of March, which just started yesterday, rabbit, is a multiple sclerosis awareness month. That is every March. So she asks you and me to add some orange to your wardrobe once or more during the course of the month. That is the color for multiple sclerosis awareness. And I'm certain that she, my sister Sherry, who suffers from severe MS, and she's allowed me to share that publicly, she is fighting the good fight. She and others, you listening to this radio station, have probably heard me talking about our Janice Dean, who also suffers from that same affliction, who is in sorts at this point to have to take some time off. She is still off and away from work to our knowledge. We do not know of her condition update, but we've heard nothing counter to the last thing we heard from her, which was, I'll be back stronger than ever, and that's a really good attitude, and we certainly hope that that is exactly what occurs. All right, final item for today, an honor long deserved.
Securing America.
During the recent State of the Union address, President Trump awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor to 100-year-old former Navy fighter pilot Captain Royce Williams for his actions in a dogfight against 7 Soviet MiGs during the Korean War in November of 1952.
Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others.
The day after the speech, Williams was inducted into the Pentagon's Hall of Heroes, where he downplayed his actions, which took place despite his plane being hit with over 260 bullets.
Set out to be good at whatever I do for my country.
However, War Secretary Pete Hegseth countered,
"You showed a grateful nation the definition of heroism."
Williams' response? Very simple.
All I say is, God bless America.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Fantastic. We love our veterans. Thank you to all who have served and those that are continuing to serve. We are thinking and praying for you in harm's way today and every day, and I hope if you don't do that, you might consider doing that. I'm Steve Lindell, here in Studio B of the Wolf Boom Radio Group on the south side of Muncie, Indiana, USA. For Aiden Foster, my producer in the Axia Command Center, stay with us. The Monday Morning Talk Block continues with Mike Robinson guesting on the 765businessjournal.com radio show in just a moment. WMUN.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. You ever feel like running a business is just